Hi, and welcome back to the Cheeky Crypto Podcast. My name's Chris, and it's fantastic to have you back with us for another video. And in today's video, I want to, go back to the previous podcast where I was talking about, basically how Bitcoin could get to $15,000 or so, right? And basically calling out a potential risk that could see the crypto market crash. And look, I kind of put all of the economic, shit show to one side and gave you a very legitimate reason why we could see Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, fall exponentially. So, look, if you enjoy this sort of content, mash up the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tap in that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video. What I just want to do is just highlight genuine reasons why, there could be some risk in the market right now, alongside all the macro stuff that is clearly got its own risks to it. And look, we get some comments in the videos that we put out. And maybe this is because I'm not explaining things in enough depth, and maybe some learnings for me, or just people are just talking, absolute nonsense. And I want to clear a few of these things up, right? Because, and I saw somebody made a comment that, I think I used the term, I'm not pulling this shit out of my arse. I'm really not. Like, I am trying to keep as many people safe in this space, and I am expecting a pullback. Now, I don't like the idea of people talking about things as like these are just complete black swans. Nobody could have seen this coming. So I want to kind of give some reasoning, some rationale as to why Nick and myself see a few different risks that perhaps people aren't talking about, mainly because a lot of these people are still down in their mum and dad's basement and really don't have the qualifications, the experience, or any real know-how. You see all these people that, like, I used to work at McDonald's, I used to be a taxi driver, I used to be a bin man. Like, these aren't like people that perhaps have a great experience with finance, and maybe they got lucky. Who knows? But I really want to sort of go through some of the rationale and talk through why I was saying, Bitcoin could go down to, as low as 15K. And it might just be a retest of the previous lows, or it could be a new lower low, right? And nobody really knows. But at the same time, the more, arguments that you've got for both sides, the more sort of informed you are about the potential risks. And that's really what I'm trying to do here, is kind of put out some rationale as to why we could see the markets pull back quite significantly. And then people can go away, they can do their own research and see, what side of the argument resonates with them the most, and make their own financial decisions. Because I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a qualified financial advisor. So, treat this as educational purposes only. Go away, do your own research. There's no substitute for that. And let's get down to the desktop. Let's go take a look. So this is what I called out yesterday's podcast. China could secretly hold $6 billion of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies. And again, this is an article calling out that there's a potential for a crash. Now, this is quite an old article, and I do believe that there is some substance to the numbers here that China holds for cryptocurrency. But China are not the only ones. There are other countries around the world that also hold a substantial amount of cryptocurrency. And a lot of people will say that, countries, they are competitive, they're, in competition with each other. And when one door closes, another opens, and I completely align with that. But at the same time, there's lots of alliances between these countries as well. So we should be mindful of the alliances and the fact that you can even see it in the headlines, and we'll come on to some of those later on in the video. And I do encourage people to stay tuned to the very end for this one. I do encourage people to share this, because this is something that a lot of people aren't talking about. I'm going to go into a bit more detail than I did in the previous video. And look, just know that this is coming from a good place, right? And I'm not necessarily saying this is going to happen, but it is a risk that we need to be aware of and acknowledge. One of the other countries that is kind of against crypto, at least on the face of it, is the US government. They hold over $4.4 billion in Bitcoin and could dump any time. Matter of fact, we have seen them sending over Bitcoin to Coinbase. So look, this isn't like, bullshit. This isn't just somebody trying to, build up a case to show you that it is going to happen. I am really just, enlightening people as to what could happen in the future, and, highlight the fact that there are signs that, countries are already moving some of this cryptocurrency. So I think it's important that we're aware of it. And I don't want people to be talking about black swans and all that bullshit. So if anybody calls out black swan, if this does happen, the warning signs have been there. And again, like, it's the same with FTX. Nick and myself, we were sniffing around before it happened. We put out messages in our Discord before ZZ, and you have to excuse my accent. It sounds like I'm saying his name incorrectly. The CEO of Binance. We basically messaged everybody saying that, FTX was, on the verge of collapse, and we highlighted the opportunity to short FTT and Solana, and people made thousands of % profit on those shorts. So do jump in the Discord. It's absolutely free. Link is in the description of this video. So yeah, look, share it, and let's make sure nobody's saying that this is a black swan event if it does occur. Now, why this video, right? I had this message. Why would China dump BTC? So I want to sort of go into at least some reasoning why China might dump Bitcoin, right? And I've said why not. Tune into the next podcast and I'll tell you why. At least I'll give you a reason as to why that might happen. Now, lots of people see these videos with the thumbnails. Obviously, the thumbnails are to get people to click. I'm not in the business of, making videos not to be seen, not to be watched. That's like opening a burger restaurant and never telling anybody it's open, and not telling anybody that you're going to open a burger shop, doing no marketing or advertising. You're not going to sell any damn burgers. So look, I'm not here to waste my time. I'm really here to just highlight these things and get as many views as I can to share the knowledge and the alpha with as many people as possible. So help with that by leaving a comment, subscribing to the channel, and sharing the shit out of these videos. It really does support the channel, and it just helps keep people more informed with more rounded views of the market. Now, the other thing that we see an awful lot of are comments suggesting that we must have sold, and this is why we've got this narrative. And I want to squash some of those rumors. I actually am one of the people that actually bought pretty close to the bottom. So not only that, I was in May last year, 2022, calling for the bottom in June. That happened. I then said that wasn't the bottom and we should expect new lower lows. That then went on to happen October, November. And, look, throughout that period of time, we were told we were wrong, just like we're being told we're wrong now. And I said, these indicators that people were sending my way would be invalidated. And that is very much what happened. So I will come on to prove that actually this is just nonsense. I haven't sold and have any concerns about the price of Bitcoin. It really makes no difference to me where the prices go. If in all honesty, we've managed and navigated this bear market impeccably. I don't think there's anyone in this space that has managed to avoid the amount of rug pulls and collapses and take advantage of those. And it's all been through great risk management, been all through making sure that we're in the data and not emotional and not overreacting. I mean, how many people made 9% profit on USDC when it depegged? I was one of those individuals. And who else highlighted FTX as early as we did? Very few people. I just want to emphasize that a little bit. Are you worried that you sold your ADA? No, I made 30% on my ADA. I sold back in May 2022, the time that I was telling everybody to get out of the market, telling people that perhaps now wasn't a good time to buy back in May 2022. I told everybody that I expected a new lower low. A few people were listening, but not many. And we saw the new lower low. I then made 30% additional ADA. So here is my proof. Basically, in our Discord for our Patreon members, and it's definitely worth becoming a Patreon member. There's lots of alpha content and lots of ways to make money in a bear market or a bull market. But one of the things that we do is we share all of our purchases as we're making them. Same with our sales. We will tell you when we're selling. We'll tell you when we're buying as we're doing it. This is for our Patreon members. So if we just go back to, let's just have a look at October, for example. Chris sold his quant at 186.50. This was to buy it back cheaper. Then if we go here, Chris bought BTC at 17,345. Chris bought BTC at 15,801. Chris bought quant at $109. So I sold my quant at 186.50, and then less than a month later, I bought it back at 109. Look, this is basically Nick and myself highlighting all of the prices. I sold my Solana at 32.50. This is when I was telling everybody that FTX was having troubles, and basically I bought. Well, I didn't actually buy it back, but I sold it, and I could have bought it back earlier at much cheaper prices. So I just wanted to highlight some of this stuff, squash some of the inaccuracies in the comments. I think this stuff's really important. People are like, oh, you don't have to, explain yourself and all that sort of stuff. But this is our brand. It's something that we've built. And when we've actually done very, very well in this space, not only supporting people make a lot of money in the space by being very accurate in what we talk about and how we sort of articulate it, and we've also saved a lot of people a lot of money. There's a lot of people that were on FTX that were part of our community that got off of FTX. I mean, one individual told me that their brother had $80,000 on FTX, and because of our notification, took it all off of FTX before the collapse. So look, there's some great things that we've supported people in the community with, and I want to articulate it, right? Because Nick, myself, our amazing team work very, very hard 24/7 to support the community to do very, very well in this space. And sometimes we go against the narrative, and we've kind of been against the narrative sort of since May last year. Everybody's been telling you that it's going to the moon time and time again. When Nick and myself, I think, have been very realistic and bang on the money when it comes to the market so far. We've been telling you that, we expect bear market rallies. That is what we've had, but nothing more than that. We're not in a bull market, and we expect the market to tank. And look, I am very, very strong in my opinion of that. But let's get to the reasoning why China may come to sell their Bitcoin. Well, for those of you that aren't aware, China has an awful lot of debt, and hopefully I've got this in the right order. But basically, it's going to be a real challenge for them. So for people that don't know, China has lent out about $68.6 billion to various different countries around the world. Now, some of those countries are the likes of Turkey, Argentina, Sri Lanka, and so forth. And basically, in a nutshell, a lot of these countries can't afford to pay back China and various other people that they've borrowed from. Now, what is actually happening at the moment is a lot of these countries that are the lending countries are repackaging some of these loans, perhaps doing it over a longer period, perhaps lending more, which is what we've seen China do. China have actually, if we find the right one here, where is it? Sure, it's one of these. I'm not going to be able to find it now. But basically, China's high local government debt is also at an all-time high. And this is like silly numbers, right? And basically, there's some black holes. Basically, we've got here total debt of China LGFVs has swollen to a record 66 trillion yen, $9.5 trillion, equivalent to half the country's economy, sorry, from 57 trillion yuan last year. And this is according to the IMF. And basically, China are not willing to play ball, whereas I said some of the other countries are repackaging debts, and some countries have gone as far as to write debts off for some of these countries that I've mentioned earlier. China are not willing to do that. I don't think they're in a position to do that at all. And look, when people question why China might sell, well, China, basically their economy's in turmoil, and their debt is just far too high. There's a lot of talk about the US right now, and the the debt ceiling being broken and so forth, and the amount of debt that they've got. But a lot of people are not really looking at China in enough detail, in my opinion. And they've got housing issues and all sorts of things. So you've got India, taking the top spot. It has debts of 39.7 billion. Which is just craziness. And it gives you an idea here of the amount of debt that these countries have got. Right, we've got China, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Maldives, South Asia. Again, just lots of debt with China. We've got Pakistan fresh $580 million loan from China. Again, it's just China, rather than restructuring loans, are just adding to them. And I just think that this is a potential big issue for China. And I think that it could lead to China selling their Bitcoin that they've got. Now, you can let me know your thoughts and your opinions in the comments below. But, for me, why would they hold their Bitcoin? Yes, it's probably going to be worth an awful lot more in the future. But you've got a property crisis. You've got an economy that is not doing very well at the moment, where there's lots of competition and lots of emerging economies. Look, for me, it's rather interesting and worth highlighting, right? Because people say, why would they sell it? Well, they might have no choice but to sell it, is kind of the point that I'm poorly trying to articulate here. We've got Sweden drives final nail into its Bitcoin mining industry with tax hike, 6,000% increase. We've seen the US talking about this, and this is the reason why I bring this up, is not to just compound what I've just been saying, but it's really to just identify that, there's several countries doing very similar things right now. The US, we're talking about, a mining tax and all that sort of stuff, and then you see Sweden and various others doing the same thing. Committee publishes draft stablecoin bill, first major piece of crypto legislation in 2023. So there are things going on around CBDCs, which is good to see. Again, is it a positive thing? Who knows? But just to switch and just be a little bit more positive, always like to end on a positive. London Stock Exchange to clear crypto trades. So again, another positive for crypto. So look, it might perceptionally appear that Nick and myself are really big bears in the crypto space, but ultimately long term, Nick and myself are really, really bullish on crypto. Nick and myself have been buying somewhere near the bottoms each time we've pulled back, rightly calling each of those pullbacks. And look, I hope people do really well in this space. Take everything that I say and any other influencer with a pinch of salt. Go away, do your own research and see what resonates best with you. I would love to see and speak with you in our Discord. Link is in the description. It's absolutely free to join. If you wish to become a member, again, would love to have you on one of our AMAs, our member AMAs, which we do twice weekly. You can have TA on request. All you need to do is become a Patreon member, and our technical analysts will do the TA for you. And lots of trade ideas and stuff like that. Lots going on in the Discord. It would be great to see you down there and on Patreon. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I will catch you in the next one.